Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to journey with me into the depths of ancient myth, to a place where shadows linger, where the boundary between life and death is fiercely guarded, and where one of mythology's most formidable creatures stands watch. I speak, of course, of Cerberus, the legendary hound of the underworld. Cerberus is far more than a monstrous figure meant to frighten. He is a symbol, a guardian, and a reflection of how ancient civilizations understood the most profound mystery of all, death itself. To truly appreciate Cerberus, we must begin with his origins. In the rich tradition of Greek mythology, Cerberus was born of two terrifying primordial beings, Typhon and Echidna. These were not ordinary parents. Typhon was a monstrous giant associated with chaos and destruction, while Echidna was a half-woman, half-serpent creature known as the Mother of Monsters. Together they brought into existence some of the most fearsome beings in myth, including the Hydra and the Chimera. Among these, Cerberus stood out, not just for his appearance, but for his purpose. Cerberus is most commonly described as a massive, three-headed dog, though some ancient sources claim he had many more heads, sometimes even dozens. His eyes burned with an eerie glow, his fangs dripped with venom, and from his body often sprouted serpents, with a snake forming his tail. Every detail of his form reinforced a single idea. This was no ordinary creature. This was a being meant to inspire awe and fear. But what was his role? Cerberus served Hades, the ruler of the underworld. His duty was clear and unwavering, to guard the gates of the realm of the dead. He allowed souls to enter, but never to leave. In this role, Cerberus was not merely a monster. He was an enforcer of cosmic law, ensuring that the natural order remained intact. Think about that for a moment. In ancient Greek belief, the boundary between life and death was absolute. Without Cerberus, that boundary could collapse. The dead might wander the world of the living, and chaos would follow. So, while he may appear terrifying, Cerberus is, in a sense, a protector, not of individuals, but of balance itself. Of course, no great mythological figure exists without stories of challenge and confrontation. Cerberus appears in several famous myths, often as an obstacle that only the greatest heroes can overcome. One of the most well-known tales involves Heracles, also known as Hercules. As part of his 12 labors, Heracles was given a nearly impossible task: descend into the underworld and bring Cerberus back to the surface. Imagine the courage, or perhaps the audacity, this required. According to the myth, Heracles confronted Cerberus, and using nothing but his strength, no weapons, managed to wrestle the beast into submission. He brought Cerberus to the world of the living, proving his strength and resolve, before eventually returning the creature to his rightful place. This story reminds us that even the most fearsome guardians can be challenged, but only by those of extraordinary power and determination. In contrast, another hero took a very different approach. Orpheus, a master musician, journeyed into the underworld not with strength, but with art. Armed with his lyre, Orpheus played music so beautiful, so moving, that even Cerberus was calmed. The monstrous guardian, known for his ferocity, lay still, allowing Orpheus to pass unharmed. What does this tell us? That even in the face of brute force and terror, there exists another kind of power. The power of creativity, emotion, and beauty. As myths evolved, so too did the image of Cerberus. In Roman literature, particularly in the works of Virgil, Cerberus appears as an immense, three-throated beast, whose presence reinforces the dread of the underworld. Later, in medieval literature, his role shifts again. In Inferno by Dante Alighieri, Cerberus becomes a tormentor of the damned, punishing souls in a vision of hell shaped by moral judgment. This transformation is significant. It shows how a single mythological figure can evolve to reflect changing beliefs. What began as a neutral guardian became in time an agent of punishment, a reflection of humanity's shifting ideas about justice and the afterlife. Even today, Cerberus continues to capture our imagination. He appears in films, books, and video games, often as a powerful adversary or a symbol of forbidden realms. Though interpretations vary, the essence of Cerberus remains unchanged. He is the watcher at the threshold, the creature that stands between worlds. So why does Cerberus endure? Perhaps it is because he represents something deeply human. He embodies our fear of the unknown, our fascination with what lies beyond death, and our respect for the boundaries that define existence. He reminds us that some doors are not meant to be opened, and that some guardians exist for a reason. Yet, he also tells us something else. Through the stories of Heracles and Orpheus, we learn that these boundaries, while formidable, are not beyond reach. They can be approached with strength, or with wisdom, or with art. But they must always be respected. Ladies and gentlemen, Cerberus is not just a monster of myth. He is a symbol of balance, of vigilance, and of the eternal boundary between life and death. He stands as a reminder that even in darkness, there is order, and that even the most fearsome figures may serve a greater purpose.